Alright, let's see. What do we got going? J.B. Pritzker joins police force in hopes of getting sandwich thrown at him. Washington, D.C., Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker reportedly joined the fray as a law enforcement officer in the nation's capital in hopes of getting a sandwich thrown at him. Sources said the governor sprang into action today after hearing that a federal officer was assaulted by a man who threw a Subway sandwich at him during a confrontation. Joining the D.C. Police Department and requesting immediate duty. Oh man, I've got to get down there right away, Pritzker reportedly said after seeing the viral video of a man assaulting a Customs and Border Protection agent with a Subway sandwich. Baxter, hold all my calls. Tell them I'm on my extended lunch. Pritzker bravely volunteered to jump in front of any sandwiches hurled by protesters. I support President Trump's mission and will eat as many sandwiches as it takes to see it accomplished, he said. Whatever it takes. President Trump welcomed Pritzker's support, calling him the bravest fat man he's ever seen. I'm not a big fan of fat people, but Pritzker's changing my mind. Trump told reporters, I used to think Santa was the only fat man who could get things done, but JB really loves sandwiches. We've found some common ground, and I think this experience will really feed his desire to make America great again. According to sources, while Pritzker isn't a particularly big fan of Subway, he will take whatever he can get. I love food, he said. At publishing time, traffic had been diverted away from DuPont Circle when J.B. Pritzker suffered a heart attack and collapsed, blocking the 4-lane roundabout with his body. How unfortunate. Woke Jesus returns, if you want to take a look at that. Babylon B. Okay, now we got what? Angry Michael Phelps has dire warning for USA swimming. Decorated United States swimmer Michael Phelps called out USA swimming yet again, this time going into great detail about his belief the program is declining. Phelps posted a lengthy 5-page statement on Instagram, doubling down on his call for action within the organization. I've watched too many teammates struggle to compete in a sport they love without the support they need, Phelps wrote. I've also seen the sport struggle to return its membership numbers to pre-pandemic levels, and I'm done pretending this system works just because it produces medals. Swimming to me was always about more than just medals. It's supposed to be an environment that builds champions in and out of the pools. As a dad to 4 young boys, it pains me to say that I'm not sure if I'd want my sons to be a part of this sport at a competitive level. Yes, swimming changed my life, but it also caused a lot of heartache, and its current state makes me both sad and angry. Phillips began his post by clarifying that he wasn't calling out the actual swimmers and the organization with his initial critique, but rather leadership outside the pool. He pointed out the team's decline in performance, saying Team USA won just 44% of medals at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, the lowest mark for the United States since 1988. And while Phelps referenced money as being a factor in USA swimming's decline, he accused the organization of poor operational controls and weak leadership. Phelps didn't point the finger without offering himself and certain recommendations as solutions. First, he vowed he would be a resource for USA swimming. While I faced some pushback from the post I shared last week, Most of the feedback I've heard echoes my feelings about the challenges facing USA swimming today. And although some of you may not agree with my perception, I'm glad that this discourse is forcing a bigger conversation. Now is the time to have it. First, I must be clear that I have the utmost respect for the US swimmers that competed at World Championship. My criticism is no way directed at them. I know how hard they work and how honored they are to represent the U.S. national team. My criticism is about the system, its leadership, and how it's failing. There have been always been cracks in the system, but in the last 9 years, I've seen those cracks grow. In 2016, I had the honor to be a part of a U.S. swim team in Rio that was arguably the most successful in sports history, and we won 57% of the medals we had the opportunity to win. Well, that was back in 2016, right? Fast forward 8 years to Paris, where Team USA won only 44%. Yeah, that's actually a big drop. Right, it would be more understandable if you got like 50%, but to get like a big whopping 13% drop, that's ouch. That's a big ouch. Right, you would see, right, it's fine to see like a drop in like 5%, maybe 7%, right, maybe 8%, but damn, 13%, that fuck, ouchie. That means competition's going down, right? That means people don't have the edge to fight for that, right? The lowest percentage the sport had seen, I mean, you could say low T. Since the 1988 Olympics. I've asked myself what's changing in our sport, and the answer is clear. This isn't on the athletes as they continue to do the best they can with what they've been given. This is on the leadership of the USA Swimming. Poor leadership trickles down and can impact an organization at every level. I spent most of my life inside of a system that is supposed to support athletes. I gave it my everything, but I often felt that my voice went unheard. I was told to be grateful for the chance to compete, and that was more important to stay quiet and to keep the peace. But yeah. This is just to... but yeah, if you want to read this, you can. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. My door is open and there is work to be done, he wrote. He also recommended that USA Swimming hold an independent review of the entire organization. He believes an athlete's first mentality needs to be adopted to support swimmers competing at the highest level. At the same time, offering support to those young swimmers to reach that level is imperative in this eyes. Phelps' initial post was about former Team USA swimmer Ryan Lochte, a teammate of his during his Olympic gold medal days. Lochte had sent an image where a funeral was being held for USA Swimming, with Phelps asking if the 2025 World Championship would be a wake-up call for the organization. Damn, wow. That imagery. Gave him a picture of a funeral being held for fucking USA Swim. Jesus. Team USA tallied 9 gold medals at the World Championships, which led all countries involved in the pool. They had 29 medals total, which was also first among participating nations. Phelps is one of the best Olympians, let alone swimmers of all time. He collected 23 gold medals over his illustrious career, which remains an Olympic record. Right? You're right. He still holds the fucking top Olympian athlete in swimming. There you have it. Gold bar. Bob Mendez's most brazen abuse of power, helping Egypt cover up the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Journalist, I think. Bob Mendez advised Egyptian officials how to cover up their part in the grisly murder of Saudi Arabian dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi. This was an egregious human rights abuse and the biggest betrayal to the values he was elected to uphold as a U.S. Senator. The disgraced former New Jersey Democrat, now serving an 11-year sentence for corruption and conspiracy to act as a foreign agent for Egypt and Qatar, had coached his high-level Egyptian contacts how to respond to grilling about Khashoggi's assassination in a Saudi embassy before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee in June 2021, court records show. As if that wasn't bad enough, Mendez was the powerful chairman of the committee at the time. Wow. U.S. Senator Bob Mendez. What a shady fuck. As revealed in my upcoming book, Gold Bar Bob, The Downfall of the Most Corrupt U.S. Senator, co-authored with Thomas Jason Anderson, Mendez met with Abbas Kamal, then director of the General Intelligence Directorate of Egypt, who was visiting the U.S. in an effort to persuade the Biden admin to release more than $300 million in weapons sales, held up because of concerns over the Middle Eastern country's shoddy record on human rights. The Saudis convicted of killing Khashoggi had obtained the drugs used in his murder from Egyptian intelligence operatives, according to reports and court filings. Khashoggi, a columnist for the Washington Post, was killed and dismembered when he attended an appointment of the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd, 2018. So he was the one that facilitated, right, him fucking getting got. Fucking this guy, man. Fuck it. Well, there's your U.S. senators for you. Corrupt motherfuckers, yeah. Saudi leader Mohammed bin Salman took responsibility for the murder because it happened on my watch, but denied ordering the hit. What Mendez did was sinful, said Hanan Altri Khashoggi, the slain journalist's wife. It's sinful when I hear that a U.S. senator accepted a bribe from a dictator to cover up a murder. Sounds familiar. Sounds like the Clintons and maybe the Bidens. I'm so sorry, that's fucked up. Mendez's role was mentioned briefly in court papers when he was indicted on criminal charges in 2023. He also briefed the head Egyptian intelligence on questions other U.S. senators were preparing to ask regarding reports that Egypt had aided in a notorious human rights abuse, the murder and dismemberment of a U.S. lawful permanent resident journalist, court papers say. He did so in the explicit words of his co-defendant wife, so that the head of Egyptian intelligence could prepare its rebuttals and answers to Mendez's fellow U.S. senators' questions. Mendez's wife, Nadine, who was also convicted on bribery and corruption charges, had pressed her husband to help the Egyptians in exchange for bribes, including gold bars and a Mercedes convertible. So that's why they said the gold bar, Bob. Right, he was. They were trading gold and fucking cash and materialistic fucks. Also, gold is a nice commodity. He did right. Where were we? Robbery, including gold. Oh yeah, we're down here. Is oh yeah. Wait, she was scheduled to be sentenced next month. There. So it seems like this was the gold bars that he was trading, right? This is the bribery. And you have Jamal Khashoggi and his wife. This is Khashoggi, the final moments before his death. And then this is the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Khashoggi, who was born in Egypt, had grew up in Dubai, now lives in Virginia, where she obtained political asylum in 2023 after she was harassed and tortured by Emirati intelligence operatives following her husband's death, she said. She told the Post she met her husband at a journalism conference in 2009 and married him 5 months before his murder. She last saw him in September 2018 before he went on his trip into Europe and Turkey, where he wanted to buy an apartment. This is an open wound and a tragedy, said lawyer Rhonda Fahmy, who launched an unsuccessful lawsuit against an Israeli spyware company that allowed intelligence operatives to track the Khashoggis, information that ultimately led to his murder, she said. See? This is why people don't trust the Israelis too, right? As well, the government, right? It's because, right, everyone's running fucking intelligence companies, man. Everyone and their mother is trying to bury this story, Fahmy continued, adding that Altri Khashoggi is mulling a lawsuit against the 18 Saudis who were tried for the murder in Saudi Arabia. We're not giving up until we achieve justice. Perhaps a very small measure of that justice has already been achieved now that Mendez is languishing in federal prison. Mendez has appealed to both ex-President Joe Biden and current President Donald Trump for pardons. There you have it. FBI returns stolen 16th century manuscript signed by Conquistador Cortez to Mexico. FBI has returned a priceless 16th century manuscript bearing the signature of Spanish conquistador Ferdinand Cortez to Mexico, official said Thursday. Archivists in Mexico's General Archive of the nation were shocked when they discovered 15 pages of the manuscript missing during their efforts to microfilm the collection in 1993, with officials believing the rare documents were stolen between then and 1985. Pieces like this are considered protected cultural property and represent valuable moments in Mexico's history, Special Agent Jessica Dittmer with the FBI's art crime team said as the U.S. handed the documents over. Here's the manuscript. Here's Cortez. The rare manuscript documented detailed payments from New Spain made in pesos of the Mexican gold, all neatly filed away under government expenses. For land. I'm a little tired right now. Land discovery with Cortez is signing off on the order on February 20th, 1527. The papers offer a rare glimpse into into the workings of New Spain, which at the time stretched from Central American to modern-day Washington state. Cortez's signature is especially noteworthy given his historical role in expanding Spain's control over the Americas and colonizing the Mayan and Aztec kingdoms. Correct. At the time of signing, Cortez was serving as the governor of New Spain. Mexico had tapped the FBI's art crime team last year for help in tracking down the page that bore Cortez's signature, with investigators eventually locating the missing document. Officials did not say where the relic was located, only that authorities would not prosecute anyone in connection with the original theft, since it has been determined that the documents had changed hands several times over since it went missing, the FBI said. We know now how important it is for the U.S. to stay ahead of this, to support our foreign partners, and to try and make an impact as it relates to the trafficking of these artistic works and antiquities, said the Defiant, a supervisory special FBI agent, in a statement. Thursday's exchange was only the second time the FBI has helped track down documents related to Cortez's for the Mexican government. In 2023, the agency located a 16th century letter penned by Cortez authorizing the purchase of sugar in New Spain. Yeah, I mean, this is just a priceless document, right? I mean, it's a piece of history. The only people who would be willing to steal this and buy this kind of shit is like black market shit, right? Some high-paying fucking rich asshole who's a fucking piece of shit, right? Fucking trying to steal heritage or a historical document. Full money. Anyway, on to the next. Drunk Breeze Airways passenger yells racial slurs. Breaks free from restraint twice before he's manhandled by fellow flyer. A drunk Breeze Airways passenger allegedly spewed racial slurs at staff, broke out of restraints twice, and aggressively waved a skateboard as he forced an emergency landing on board an LA-bound flight. David Leroy Carter, 46-year-old Los Angeles resident, was taken into custody by Colorado police on Wednesday after he became agitated 4 hours into the flight out of Norfolk, Virginia, according to NBC Los Angeles. The Grand Junction Police Department said airline staff had placed the intoxicated passenger in restraints twice during the flight, but he managed to break free both times during his profanity-laced tirade around 11:15 a.m. So a drunk dude in the morning just wanted to cause he chose violence, essentially. Breeze flight MX704 was diverted to Grand Junction Airport in Colorado, according to FlightAware. Upon landing, Carter was arrested and booked into the Mesa County Detention Facility. This is an ongoing investigation, and any further information and changes will be released by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the department wrote in a statement. Startling footage of the mid-air chaos posted to TikTok shows a flight attendant appearing to try to restrain Carter, what? Alaska, the last one. Carter with plastic zip ties, only for him to push past and stand face to face with the worker. That's the last thing you're going to do to me. He's heard telling the flight attendant, "You'll learn today." Stop, you need to sit down, she demanded, while Carter smirked and replied, "No, ma'am." The flight attendant asked other passengers and workers to help her get control of the situation and help restrain Carter. This is him right here. Oh man, they got the big boy in there. Oh shit, they got the big boy. Yeah. Man, they got like the football player fucking passenger. It's just fucking cat. Kid. Yeah. And later, a large man in a white t-shirt walks over to Carter, towering over him. The flyer picks up Carter under arms with ease, carries him like a child. Yeah. Sit your ass down, the Good Samaritan scolds. Police reported injuries during the mid-air bedlam, but Breeze Airways told NBC Los Angeles that one flight attendant and one guest were evaluated for minor injuries. Our focus now is to taking care of our crew and remaining guests who have been unfairly inconvenienced by this unfortunate event and getting them safely to their final destination as quickly as possible, the airline said. The FBI said charges will be submitted to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Colorado, but did not share what charges Carter is facing. Post has reached out to the FBI and Breeze Airways for comments. Is there,
A Breeze Airways flight headed to Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. This is just a news report. Never mind. What's this? Oh, yeah, this is the Hunter Biden one. Yeah. Hunter Biden shrugs off Melania Trump's $1 billion threat over defamatory Epstein remarks. Fuck that. Hunter Biden crassly brushed aside First Lady Melania Trump's threat to sue him for $1 billion if he doesn't retract false and defamatory comments linking her and her husband to late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Fuck that. That's not going to happen, Biden said with an arrogant smile during an interview to YouTube show Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, released Thursday. The First Lady's team revealed Wednesday that it had put the scandal-scarred former first son on notice for suggesting that Epstein introduced Melania to her husband, President Trump. Melania's office has made similar threats to other media figures and outlets last month. For example, the Daily Beast retracted an article that peddled similar claims after being warned of legal action. Look, I'm pretty sure that they were all friends with each other. Let's just stop. But the fact that you were trying to, like, you probably said something that was probably untrue. That's why she fucking did it. Democratic strategist James Carville also apologized and scrubbed an episode of his podcast last week in which he speculated there was an Epstein connection involving the First Lady. Jesus. Failure to comply with will leave Mrs. Trump with no choice but to pursue any and all legal rights and remedies available to her to recover the overwhelming financial and reputational harm that you have caused her to suffer. The First Lady's attorney Alejandro Brito wrote in August 6 demand letter reported by Fox News. Despite his bravado, Biden could find himself in a lot of financial trouble if he were sued. The 55-year-old has claimed in court documents that he is saddled with significant debt in the millions of dollars range, amid sagging art and book sales and mounting legal bills. Last month, during an interview on the same YouTube channel, Biden weighed in on Epstein drama, dogging the president. It is beyond a doubt that he, Trump, and Epstein were very close friends for a very long period of time. They spent enormous time together. They spent an enormous amount of time together around young women. He said on the show last month. According to his biographer, Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania, he added. Biden, like the Daily Beast and others, was citing other Michael Wolff, who has made bold and dubious claims about the president in the past that have been subject to dispute. The president cheered his wife's threat against Hunter Biden Thursday, insisting that he met Melania through another person, but not Epstein. Well, I said, go forward. I have done pretty well on these lawsuits lately. I said, go forward, the president told Fox News radio host Brian Kilmeade. Jeffrey Epstein had nothing to do with Melania and introducing, but they do that to demean. They make up stories. He was very upset about it, the president added of his The former first son claimed that he was referencing other sources beyond Wolf. What I said was what I have heard and seen reported and written primarily from Michael Wolff, but also dating back all the way to 2019 when the New York Times, I think, reported that sources said that Jeffrey Epstein claimed to be the person to introduce Donald Trump to Melania at the time. He said in the interview that dropped Thursday. A cocky Biden also suggested he would love to get to a deposition from the Trumps over the Epstein claims. I also think they're bullies, and they think that $1 billion is going to scare me, he said. If they want to sit down for a deposition and clarify the nature of the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, if the president, the first lady want to do that, and all the known associates around them at the time of whatever time that they met, I'm more than happy to provide them the platform to be able to do it. Both the president and first lady have said they met in 1998 during a New York Fashion Week party hosted by businessman Paolo Zampoli. Melania recounted in her memoir that the future president sat down next to her and struck up a conversation, writing, "I found myself drawn to this magnetic energy." The two tied the knot in 2005. Brito, Melania's counsel, ripped Wolf as a serial fabulist and accused Hunter of amplifying his comments to draw attention. Given your vast history of trading on the names of others, including your surname, for your personal benefit, it is obvious that you published these false and defamatory statements about Mrs. Trump to draw attention to yourself, the attorney chided. Brito had given Hunter until 5 p.m. August 7th to issue a retracting an apology. Retraction and apology. Pregnant high school grad shared unsettling concerns before vanishing after argument with boyfriend. Another one. An 18-year-old recent Massachusetts high school graduate who was about 3 months pregnant disappeared after an argument with their boyfriend. Kylie Monteiro was last seen on August 7th near County Street in Rehoboth, about 50 miles from Boston, according to the Rehoboth Police Department. Oh, right here. Montero's family said that they last heard from her through a text message on the day she disappeared, and they fear for her safety, WCVB5 reported. The last known time when we heard her voice was Wednesday night, Montero's sister, Faith, told the outlet. A friend of Montero's also expressed concern for her well-being, saying her last contact felt unsettling. She was like, "I don't feel safe right now. Something's not right. I tried talking with her after that, and she just stopped responding to me after that." The friend, who was not identified, told WCVB5. "I just want her to know that, like, we miss you and we are not going to stop trying to find you." Montero is 6 feet tall with light brown hair and blue eyes. She was last seen in red "Get Over It" t-shirt, ripped blue jeans, and carrying a white bag. Her disappearance comes 2 months after she graduated from Attleboro High School. So she just graduated high school. Wait, she was a teen when she was... Wait, she was in high school when she was pregnant? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, shit. She was one of those people. The Reboth Police Department launched an extensive search for the teen using canines, helicopters, drones, ATVs, and divers in nearby bodies of water. WJ reported. Faith said police are thoroughly investigating her sister's disappearance. Montera's other sister, Catherine, said she is usually very active on social media, especially on TikTok and Snapchat. But since vanishing, absolutely nothing has appeared on her accounts. The smallest detail is important, and if there are hundreds of people going through the woods, they might not find it, Catherine pleaded with the public. There are so many scenarios that have gone through all of our heads, so many theories that everybody has it's all skepticism at this point. We don't know what happened to her, but we're not giving up hope, Faith said. There you have it. That's not good. Some shit went down. Some shit went down. NYC cops hunting for creep accused of groping 13-year-old girl on subway. Cops are looking for a sicko accused of groping a 13-year-old girl aboard a Bronx subway last week, police said Thursday. The girl was headed north on a 4 train around 5 p.m. on August 6th. As the train approached the 149th Street station, a strange man reached out and touched the girl's inner thigh and intimate area. Oh, that's fucked. Wow, he copped the feel before running off the train and out of the station when the train stopped, according to the NYPD. What a fucking weirdo. Predator. Cops also said the alleged pervert is still on the loose. They described him as a heavy set with a medium complexion and released a photo of him wearing a blue shirt, black pants, and a Yankees cap. What a fucking old-ass sleazebag. Yeah, he's gonna get hung when he gets found out. Anyways, there you have it. I will be leaving all the sources in the description like usual. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.